comfortable, Perry the Platypus? I made that platyrax so that every limb is accounted for. So, what's it all about? You see, there were only two things that made my miserable childhood.
I really
terrible.
miss going to
My
school
giant
and
pet
seeing my
cockroach
friends.
and garlic
I miss
ice
science
cream.
classes
I love
and doing
these two
experiments
things so
in the
much, I
lab.
wondered if combining them would
Gee,
exponentially
science sure
increase
is
my enjoyment
great.
of them. So, introducing my Combinator. With my Combinator, I was finally able to make the triple scoop garlic roast. Cameron!
No.
Wake up!
What? Dr. Doofenshmirtz?
Well, I'm not Dr. Doofenshmirtz per se. I'm a voice inside your head, but I am Dr. Doofenshmirtz's voice inside your head, so I guess you're half right. Anyway, pay attention. I have a new invention. Behold, the Cameroninator! Since today's Scout Saturday Live episode is all about science, I want you to use the Cameroninator to hypnotize your co-hosts. You will get Miranda, Sam, Bailey, Charlotte, and Nathaniel to all lead science experiments for your viewers.
That sounds like a great idea.
I'm sorry, I just thought of a funny joke. Anyway, do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, I'm out of here.
Wait!
What?
What if I don't succeed?
Oh, just do your best, Cameron. It's the Cub Scout motto, you know. Anyway, bye-bye. I've got to go find a platypus in someone else's head.
I know just what to do. I'll record a message using the Cameroninator and email it to the other Scout Saturday Live hosts.
Hey look, an email from Cameron.
This is Cameron. Listen to me. You are going to be a scientist on today's Scout Saturday Live show. I want you to do a cool science experiment for our viewers. Let's do something slimy, something tasty, something bouncy. Ooh, let's do something with foam and with water. And we'll do something gooey. It's science!
It's Scout Saturday Live with Nathaniel Cox, Charlotte Green, Cameron Irvine, Bailey Vincent, Sam Yamosta, and your host, Miranda Janae. And now, Miranda Janae.
Hi everyone, the weekend is finally here and I hope you're having a great Saturday so far. We are all really excited about today's show, which is all about science experiments. I'm going to be showing you how to make slime. Nathaniel, what do you have planned?
Hey Miranda! I'm gonna show you guys the Bouncy Egg experiment.
That sounds awesome. How about you, Bailey?
I have a yummy and fun experiment for you guys using sugar. We're gonna make rock candy.
That is so cool. Charlotte, Chase, are you guys there?
Hi everyone, we're here. We're really excited to show you the Foamy Fountain experiment. It's awesome.
I cannot wait. Next up is Sam. What are you up to today?
I have a really cool experiment to show you guys today. Like, actually cool. Because it involves cold water.
That sounds very, very interesting. I guess we'll find out more a little bit later. And finally, our mad scientist himself, Cameron Irvine.
Yes, I have successfully used the Cameronator, and now we have plenty of fun science experiments to do today. I will personally show you how to make ooey gooey Oobleck. We'll start with that in just a minute. By the way, did you know about Sir Isaac Newton? He was a famous scientist of the 17th century, and when he was a young man, he had to go home to his family's farm when a plague hit London. While he was home, he furthered his discoveries in gravity and optics and all sorts of things. What do you think you'll discover when you're at home?
Thanks, Cameron. Now, before we dive into all of these fun experiments, let's talk about last episode's project, the Rube Goldberg machine. We were so thrilled to have scouts watching the show from 34 states in the US, as well as scouts in Canada, Mexico, England, and even Germany. Over 100 of you sent us videos of your own Rube Goldberg machines. You guys did an incredible job.
We picked 4 of the best videos to show you today. These 4 finalists who... Charlotte, I think because all these kids are Cub Scouts, I should be the one to tell them. I think I'm supposed to do that. Please? All right, go ahead. Nice. Okay, let's see who the first finalists are.
Hi, my name is Connor Eisen, and I'm a Bear Scout. Hi, my name is Preston Eisen, and I'm a Tiger. And I'm Gwen Eisen. We are all from Pack 315 and are also from Noblesville, Indiana. Yes.
What simple task are we trying to accomplish?
We are trying to accomplish turning off a light switch.
So Gwen, how did we start?
We started with me dropping a marble into the towel tube.
What's that happened after that?
And then the next step is that it hits the car.
What happens when it hits the car, Connor?
The next step, when it hits the car, it's going to hit this stick. And then it's going to hit all the dominoes, including these 2, tied together with a chopstick, pulling this string that's attached to it, and it goes down there. And it pulls the light switch.
All right. Are we ready to try this out?
Come on, Gwen! It's do.
Nice to meet you guys. Next up is Yosef.
Hi, my name is Yosef Silverstein. I'm a Weeblo 2 in Pack 624, and I live on Mercer Island, Washington.
Yay! Great! How about Justin?
Hi, my name is Justin Coder, and I am an AOL in Pack 57 in Saugus, California.
Yay! And finally, Rain. Hi, Rain.
Hi, my name is Wayne. I'm a Bear Scout. My pack is 320, Woodland Hills, California.
Would you like some snacks?
Yeah.
Would you like me to get them or Rain?
Wayne.
Rain? Okay.
Yay! Wayne. Do it, Wayne.
Rain, can you get your brother some snacks?
Yep.
Yes, success.
Thanks, Chase. Great job. And now, the winner of the best Rube Goldberg machine video is, drumroll please, it's a tie. We actually have 2 winners. Rain and the Eisert family, Preston, Connor, and Gwen. Congratulations, everyone. We're going to be sending both of you guys your special Scout Saturday Live prizes.
Great job, you guys! Those were awesome. We want all of you to send us pictures or videos of your science experiments. You'll see ours on today's show. And you can win some cool prizes from us too. We'll tell you how at the end of the show.
All of the experiments we're doing on the show today were picked because they all include common household items.
Not only that, we picked these experiments because they're all easy to do. But safety first. We're going to teach you guys how to safely do all of these experiments. You can find any and all instructions on how to do our awesome experiments on our website, www.bsa-la.org/SSL.
Let's get started. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make slime. Hey everyone! So today, as I've said previously, I'm going to be teaching you how to make slime with no detergent, borax, or glue. So first, you're going to need a small amount of water. I filled a 1/4 cup about halfway. Food coloring, which is optional. I chose blue. Some dishwashing soap. Ours is clear, but you can use any color. And just regular salt. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a splash of water, not too much. I'm going to use about half of what I poured. So you're going to have a very thin layer at the bottom of your bowl. Take a very small amount of salt, about a pinch. And you're just going to pinch it all in there. I forgot a spoon. Make sure to always be prepared with your materials. And you're just gonna stir it until the salt dissolves into the water. The way that I tell if it's dissolved is I hold it up to a light and I tilt it so I can see. If I don't see any large pieces of salt, I think we are good. Make sure to clean up your workstation when you're done. It might get a little bit messy. We're gonna take our dishwashing soap and we're just gonna put a hefty amount in there, depending on how much you wanna make. I wanna make a medium sized batch. I think that's good. Okay. Make sure not to drip it anywhere. Give that a little mix. That's a little bit mixed. I'm gonna add my blue food coloring. I wanted a dark blue, so I'm gonna do 2 drops. I think that's good. I'm gonna get some of the excess off the spoon. Place that to the side. Close all the caps. And then we're gonna take the mixture that we have here and we're going to cover it with either a lid, saran wrap, and you're gonna let it sit for 1 to 2 days. And by the time that you take it out, it's going to be the perfect slime texture. So I'm going to go do that. And I hope you guys have so much fun making your own slime, and we would love to see what you guys come up with.
Ooh, that looks slimy, Miranda. Well, I have something really, really cool to show you. This is my Bouncy Egg experiment. Now, I'm going to start you off with the ingredients. For this experiment, you need an egg, or in my case, 3 eggs and some food coloring. White vinegar, a glass, or a jar, or in my case, glass and jars. And most importantly, scientific safety goggles. 'Cause it's science! Whoa! Wrong ones! Let me switch these out. Just right. Now, let's put the eggs into the containers. Now, I need to say, I can't stress enough that you need to be very, very, very careful when putting the eggs into the glass or jars. Because eggs are very fragile and can break. Now, you only need to pour in enough vinegar so that the egg is submerged and covered. You don't need to overpour because the egg should float back up. Just like that. Now I'm noticing that you don't have to put a lot. That with thinner jars, you don't have to put in as much as you do with the wider jars. Now, with this one, I'm going to pour in some blue food coloring, just because I want to see if it makes it look cooler. And you could put it in red, yellow, or green, or blue, like I did. Now, the bubbles are forming around the egg because the eggshells are dissolving. Dun dun dun! Now, why are the eggshells dissolving? It's because eggshells are made mostly of calcium carbonate. So are seashells and even snail shells. The calcium carbonate reacts with the acid in vinegar, called acetic acid. The acetic acid breaks up the calcium and carbonate, dissolving the shell. While the calcium dissolves away, the carbonate reacts with the acetic acid to create carbon dioxide. This is why you see bubbles on and around the egg. Now, this experiment is going to take some time, so I'm going to leave these here for a few days. Woo-hoo-hoo! I'm going to be here for quite some time. Let's check in on the others.
Nathaniel, I don't know if that was super cool or really gross, but no matter, I have an awesome experiment for you guys to do. We're gonna make rock candy. First, you guys need 4 clean 12-ounce mason jars. You're going to need 4 skewers or chopsticks. 4 clothing pins or chip clips. Food coloring is optional. Then you're gonna need 2 cups of water and 4 cups of sugar. The first step that we're going to do is we're going to boil our 2 cups of water. Have a parent's permission to use your stove.
You have permission, Bailey.
Sounds great. All right, guys, our 2 cups of water is boiling. So now we're going to add in slowly our 4 cups of sugar. And you wanna add it in a little bit at a time and then stir it up, wait for it to dissolve a bit. And then you're gonna wanna add some more. But you have to make sure it completely dissolves before you add your next cup. And reduce your heat just a little bit so it doesn't pop out and burn you. So we're making some sugar syrup because this is what's going to make our rock candy. Stirring in the sugar is probably the most satisfying thing I've ever seen. All right, guys, so now that all of our sugar is dissolved, we're gonna turn off the heat and let it sit for a couple minutes. And while we're doing that, we're gonna prep our skewers. So I put some sugar onto this plate, and now I'm going to grab our sticks, and I'm going to wet them probably a little bit less than halfway with water. And we're doing this so that the sugar can stick to them. The sugar crystals are what's going to react with the syrup to make our rock candy. And you want to try and coat it as much as you can in the sugar to get a nice good layer of sugar on your sticks. So now that our syrup has partially cooled, we don't want it all the way cooled, but we do want it partially cooled. We're gonna take a ladle or another type of scoop and you're going to drag it through your syrup. Try not to leave too big of a mess, and pour it into your 12-ounce jars. And you don't want to pour it past 12 ounces. So I had my dad help me pour the sugar syrup into my 4 jars just because it's very hot, and you guys should probably have a parent help you as well because you will burn yourself on this sugar syrup. So now we're going to add in our food coloring. So I have 3 colors and I'm going to leave 1 without color. Food coloring is completely optional, so we're just gonna do a couple of drops. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is science, guys. You need exact measurements. You're gonna take some perfectly clean skewers and you're gonna stir in your food coloring. See how pretty that looks? That actually looks like really pretty. All right, guys, so we have let those cool, we've cleaned up our kitchen, and now it's time to add our skewers that are going to create our lollipops. They are coated in sugar, and now is where our clothespins come in handy. You're gonna take it and you're gonna place it so that there's a little bit off of the bottom, and you're gonna put it inside of your clothespin, and you're just gonna rest your clothespin on the top. It doesn't have to be like right in the middle, so don't worry about it, but it does have to be a little bit off the bottom. They all look pretty good to me. So now what you're gonna do is you're going to carefully take your jars one at a time and place them in a cool place where they still get some light. So these take about a week to grow. They can grow longer, but the biggest thing is that you don't want it to get stuck to the sides of your jar. We're gonna let our candies sit for about a week and we'll check back in on them later on.
Now it's our turn. We're gonna teach you how to make a foamy fountain. Some people call it elephant toothpaste. You need very simple ingredients you can probably find around your household. So first, we're gonna start with hydrogen peroxide, and we're gonna pour a little bit into the bottom of each container. Next, we're gonna take a little bit of yeast and some warm water here, and we're gonna pour some in. None of the experiments we do are dangerous, but it's always important to have an adult standing by. Now you stir the yeast. And while I stir the yeast, Chase is gonna pour a few drops of soap into each container. It smells pretty nice. I wonder if the toothpaste afterwards will smell nice. Next, we're gonna pour some food dye into each of the containers. You can just do one food dye, or you can do a multiple of colors. We're gonna do a swirl.
First, you have to take the cap off. When you're finally ready, you're gonna clear everything away. And you're gonna carefully pour the water with yeast into each of them. Oh, they're coming.
Oh hey, that looks like fun. Now, let's do something cool with water. Alright, so for this experiment, you're going to need the following. You're going to need a very clean glass. You're going to need some ice. You're going to need a bowl. 2 tablespoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of purified water. And later in the experiment, you're going to need a plate. A food thermometer may be helpful, however, it is optional. Alright, so first in this experiment, you're going to want to say take about 2 tablespoons of the distilled water you have and put it in the glass. So next, you want to place the glass in the bowl, and then you want to put the ice around the bowl, inside the bowl, so that the ice is higher than the water level. Now, sprinkle the 2 tablespoons of salt around the ice, not in the glass, but around the ice in the bowl. Now, you want to wait about 15 minutes for the water to cool below freezing temperature, which in Celsius is 0 degrees and in Fahrenheit is 32 degrees. This is where the thermometer can come in handy. You stick it in the glass, and when it gets below 32 or 0 degrees Celsius, that means the water is super cool because it hasn't frozen yet. Now we wait. Alright, so now that the water is super cool, you can now take it out of the ice and carefully pour it onto the ice cube on the other plate. Alright, now that's super cool. So, the reason we added salt to the ice at the very beginning of the experiment was to make the ice's freezing temperature lower. So, when we put the water in, this cooled it down below freezing without freezing the water inside the jar. Now, when we took the super cooled water out and poured it onto the ice cube was already below freezing, but it was a solid. This gave the super cooled water something to crystallize on, so then when I poured it on, you saw how it made a little ice sculpture. This is my super cooling experiment. I hope you all found it super cool.
Thanks, Sam. That was truly cool. Now it's time for my favorite experiment to play with, Oobleck. This one actually comes from a Dr. Seuss book, so you know it's going to be fun. First, let's have a look at it. Here it is. Here's a batch I made earlier. Oobleck is what's called a non-Newtonian fluid. What's that? Well, basically it means that its viscosity, or how thick it is, changes with different factors, including how much force is applied to it. You'll notice when I pour it like this, it kind of flows like a liquid, right? But if I take this knife here, and I cut it, and I can fold it over, make it into weird chunks, like a solid. You bet the best experience with Oobleck actually gooing it with your hands. So, see, I can sink my fingers into it, and it feels like a liquid. It feels kind of like milk, actually, or glue. Then, when I try and take my hands out, and I press into it, it acts like a solid, and, like, forces me back. That's because, Oobleck changes its viscosity when you apply a force to it. I'm sure you're all interested on how to make your own. Let's give that a try. All you'll need is cornstarch and water. And in my case, I wanted to make it a little more fun, so we're gonna add some food coloring too. Also, a large mixing bowl. This might get a little messy, so I'm gonna put on my lab coat. The important thing about making Oobleck is that you always have twice as much cornstarch as you do water. So I'm using a cup of cornstarch and half a cup of water. In my earlier example, I used half a cup of cornstarch and a quarter cup of water. All that matters is that there's twice as much of this as there is this. So let's get started. I'll pour this cornstarch in first. Make sure it doesn't get everywhere. Now, you can add the food coloring afterwards in the mixing process, or you can add it to the water beforehand. That's what I'm gonna do. Just to make sure the color is a little more even. Now let's add that in with our cornstarch. Ooh, you can see it starting to mix already. Now when you are mixing this, you want to make sure that you're pretty gentle, because like we said, Oobleck will change its consistency with the force you apply to it. So if I try and mix it really hard, it just clumps up together. I need to be very gentle so that it all mixes together and does what we want it to do. Oh, this is very tough. You guys should really try this. It feels so strange on the hands. Now let's do the same demo we did with the knife before. We can ease it into it and nothing really happens. It acts more like a fluid, like water. But if we cut into it, you can see it starts to act like something with particles. Something solid that can be cut. Looks almost like ice cream. Isn't that weird? You can tell when I try and scoop a bunch of it into my hand and play with it, and as soon as I let it go, it melts away. Wow, that really was a mess. Well, here it is in a bag. It acts like a liquid. If I try and press it together, it still acts like a solid. Very strange. Now remember, do not throw this down the drain. It will clog up. If you are going to dispose of it, make sure you throw it away in a trash can.
Now, before we show you all the results of our experiments, we want to give a shout out to all of the packs, troops, and crews that have been watching the show and following us. There are so many that I'm going to have to read some of them, and the others will be listed on your screen. First, let's start off with Pack 1 from Jonesboro, Arizona. Troop 6 from Hudson Valley, New York. Pack 152 from Charleston, West Virginia. Troop 627 from Queens, New York. Pack 42 from Mexico City, Mexico. Troop 2 from Santa Clarita, California. Troop 76 from Redlands, California. Troop 82G from Fort Dodge, Iowa. Troop 401 from London, England. Pack 57 from Saugus, California. Pack 808 from Hamburg, Germany. Troop 802 in Hamburg, Germany. Pack 862 from Torrance, California. Pack 73 from South Haven, Mississippi. Troop 418 from Homestead, Florida. Pack 79 from Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. Troop 115 in Toronto, Canada. Pack 103 from Cicero, Indiana. Troop 713 from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Thank you all so much for watching and your great letters you've been sending us. Now, let's have a look at our slime. Hello everyone, we are back 1 week later, and I am so excited to check up on our slime. I've been resisting to touch it for the past week, and I can proudly say that I have not. So let's see how it turned out. Well, it's a little bit less set up than I first anticipated, but at least it still smells really nice. I think I'm going to try this again on my own. Practice makes perfect, and it is science, so there is always room for error. But if any of you guys out there would like to try this experiment and you get it right, please don't hesitate to send us a picture or a video. We would love to hear from you.
Definitely slimy. Nice job, Miranda. Now, here's my bouncy egg. As you can see, it's definitely gotten a lot more bigger since last when we put it in. And it's become a lot more translucent as well. These have been in here for 3 days, whereas this one has been in here for 1 day. And you can see the difference. Whereas this one is a lot smaller and this one bigger. Now, let's take them out of the jar. Ooh, it's surprisingly rubbery. Now, let's pull up that diagram over there. And why is it rubbery, you may ask? Well, the rubbery part is the outer membrane, and it's what's left after you dissolve the eggshell. The membrane is the clear part that lines the inside of the eggshell, as you can see on the diagram. The membrane is made of proteins, which is why the acid in the vinegar doesn't affect it. Now, all that's left is to wash it. Now, I'm holding the egg very carefully. It's very important that it doesn't break. Now I'm ready to start bouncing my eggs. But before I do, I just want to explain some cautions that you want to have. First off, you can't bounce the eggs too high. The limit is about 4 inches. But I'm going to be testing that when I bounce my eggs. Also, I found that glass jars work better to dissolve the eggshells. Also, brown eggshells dissolve a lot faster as well. But you can experiment this for yourself. Now, let's bounce. Yeah. These eggs really bounce. Now, I'm having it at about 3 and 4 inches, and I don't want to go higher because I don't want to push my luck. Now, let's try the other eggs. This is the blue egg. Just like the white egg, it bounces as well. This is really fun. Well, there you have it, folks. Eggs that bounce. Alright, now I'm gonna put my safety goggles on, and it's time to see how high they can actually bounce before they break. So, I'm gonna start at the 4, and go higher and higher. Whoa! Alright, it went all the way to 6 inches. Well, that leaves everything all scrambled and messy. I'm gonna move this out of the way and see how the others react. Let's try the blue one. Also, I want to see if it's blue on the inside. I can keep going higher and higher until just about here. And then... oh, it's green eggs! Whoa! Alright. Let's do this one final. Oh, that's a little bit more messy than I wanted. I have an idea. Let's change the plate. Whoa! Wow! This one that was only in there for 1 day, also it's a brown egg, could go a lot higher. Well, that was one excellent science experiment. My last and final note, have fun.
I'm not sure if that was really cool or kind of gross. Maybe even both. Well, here's my rock candy. So this episode is all about science, and so I want to explain some of the science behind rock candy. So the first thing is, what is rock candy? Well, rock candy is a collection of sugars that are forming onto our stick, creating our like lollipop-esque rock candy. Now, why does that happen? So we put sugar and water together and made our sugar syrup. And then by rolling sugar onto our sticks, the sugar that is in the sugar syrup is slowly attaching to the sugar that we put onto our sticks. And then that process keeps repeating and repeating and repeating, and the crystals start to grow. And this can take a pretty long time to do. So my rock candy has been sitting for about a week now. And my rock candy isn't as big as I would like it to be, but it is getting there. So 3 of my rock candies I'm going to leave to grow for you guys, but the green one I'm going to taste test. Because the best part about this experiment is it's edible. So, this is what my rock candy looks like. And like I said, it's pretty small, but it still needs some time to grow. So, enjoy. It's really, really sweet.
That looks great, Bailey. Now let's look at our final project. Something happened. Jeez. Oh, looks like green's winning. Orange gotta get faster. Oh! Looks like milk. Yeah. And there you have it. That's how you make elephant toothpaste.
That was so amazing! 6 awesome and fun experiments. Now it's your turn. Get your family to help you and go to our webpage where you will find the instructions and list of materials so you can perform these same experiments and have fun. The website is bsa-la.org/SSL. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. We would also like to thank Aventine for generously supporting our program. For more information about Aventine, check out their website at aventine.com.
Don't forget to email us your photos and videos of your experiments. We'll select the best ones and show them on the next Scout Saturday Live program, which will be on Saturday, April 25th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Time.
Just like Sam said, our next episode is in 2 weeks, on April 25th. We'll look forward to having you with us when we cook some tasty and fun food that you can make at home. But before we go, if you want to learn more about scouting, or know someone who may want to join in all of the fun, be sure to visit beascout.org to find a scouting unit near you. So, until next time, I'm Miranda Janae. Be safe, wash your hands with soap and water, and have a great time with those science experiments. Bye! More sticky than I anticipated, but it's really fun.
Yes, Cameron. I live for science.
Take it back down, y'all.
Oh. What? Give me a sec.
Do it again. Whoa. Mom, well, I had the strangest dream.